Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm sure some of you are in already. Let me just open this. Okay, who do I have? Imran, Abdul Majid. Okay, how are you, brothers? How are you, brother Imran? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. I'm going to take this with you very quickly, but let me wait for maybe a couple of persons for the benefit of the time. And then let's see if we can do this.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Now, Abdul Majid, I know you will be here. I know. I know you will be.
I won't miss it forever.
Now?
I said I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Yeah, I know. So don't worry. I know you can't miss this. So, inshallah. Let's wait for one more person, one or two more persons, and then let's see if we can share this together. But most probably, we'll get it recorded for the rest, inshallah. Okay. So the next 1 minute, we'll do that, okay? Brother Imran, is he from Ghana? Imran IB. Okay, mashallah. Mashallah, good, alhamdulillah. You know, a lot will depend on some of you going forward because of the trend of things now. If you do well, I'm sure you're going to transfer it to other. Are you related to any madrasa, Brother Imran? Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ustaza Madina, how are you? Okay, so the fifth person is in Sharifat. Okay, maybe we can do. Okay, Namayili. Okay, that's Tamale. Oh, mashallah, that's good. That's good. Yes, I remember that name very well. We hope for the best for the Namayili madrasa. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's go quickly to do this. And this is actually a bonus. I wanted to share it with the brothers and sisters. So not take much time. Let me go to my Word document. So normally, if you have your Word document and your operating system is Arabic enabled, then you should be able to type Arabic. Okay, so what I was saying is if you are able to type Arabic, then there is a possibility that you will want to get certain things made easy for you, for use. And so there are these ways to do the shortcuts, or to take advantage of some of the designs or styles that the application Word, or what we call the MS Word, Microsoft Word provides. Now, these are inputted styles. So, I mean, it was inputted in the operating system. At the beginning, it was not there in the earlier versions, but then later, because of the use of Arabic and the request from others, it was inputted. So all what they did was to already get a prepared style and then attach certain functionalities that you need to just type in order for them to appear to you. So they are just created. All what you have to do is to assign certain, what is it called? Certain characters or certain codes to them. or certain shortcuts to them, and then you are able to produce them. You understand? Just as you use some shortcuts to write certain things in English, if you want to type a date, there's a shortcut you can use by the keyboard. If you want to type a year, there's something, just like that. The same thing with this Arabic text. So all what you have to do is to know exactly what you want to type, and then to also type what you want to represent, or you want to represent that particular word for you on Word document. So this is the concept actually. So these things are already there. All what you have to do is we go into the system in Word, and then we go and see how it applies, and then we assign certain scripts to them. But note, if you assign those scripts to them, those scripts have to be typed exactly. Then it will give you the style, right, that you want. Or if you want to use shortcut, you can also use shortcut. And so let me just quickly go through that. And you can write these steps down so that you wouldn't forget them later. Now, the first thing to do is to ensure that your computer is, or your operating system is Arabic enabled, number one. Number two, to make sure you have your Office application well installed. And then number three, you enable, you open the Word document just as I have opened. So this is MS Word. The third thing, or the fourth thing, is to go to Insert. So at the top here, you will see Insert. If you go to Insert, then you go to Symbols. So Insert, Symbols. If you click on Symbols, you'll see these. Okay, symbols. These are the symbols. So you go to More Symbols. Now, if you click on More Symbols, now you can see that here I already have the Arabics, this particular things there. It's because I know the font type I am looking at. So you write this down, AGA Arabesque. Okay, this AGA Arabesque is the font you are looking for. So you go into the symbol tab. There are two tabs here actually, special characters and then symbols. So you go into the symbols, and then you select out of this lot. Normally you will see it at normal text maybe. Okay, this is the default position. You'll see it like this. So you go down and select Arabesque, AGA Arabesque, okay? For instance, if you select this, then you will see these are styles, all the Arabic styles that you are looking for. And then from there, you would then select the style you want to know how to create a shortcut of. Is my board empty? Which board are you saying is empty? Which board are you saying is empty? Okay. Can you see what I am opening? Okay, so you don't see what I am opening, right? You don't see what I'm opening. Okay, good. So basically this is what I'm doing. Let me go back and do this. Let me go back and do that and do that. Okay. Okay. Now, can you see my Word document? And when I click on Insert and I click on Symbols and I click on Symbols, do you see this thing appear? This symbol table or this symbol dialog box. Do you see the dialog box appear, please? Okay, now you see the dialog box. Okay, so that is what I was showing you earlier. So you see the symbols, and then you have two tabs here, either special characters or symbols. So you go into the symbols, and here you will see by default, this is what you will see. Maybe, I mean, in your Word document, this is what you see, normal text, okay? So that's the fonts that are here. Then you select from here, this AGA Arabesque. So you write this down, AGA Arabesque. So this is what you will select. And then you will see all these Arabic styles that have been developed into MS Word. When you do that, you will see them. Okay. Now, when you see them, the next thing for you to do now is to see, okay, which of these designs are you looking for? So, for instance, if I'm looking for Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, if I select Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, you will see that it is code number 80. So if even you like, if you don't remember, but remember this code, that is the code for it in the Arabesque, okay, code number 80. You can just type, so Allah, Bismillah is code number 30, for instance. Azza wa Jalla is code number 85. Jalla Jalaluhu is code number 89. Azza wa Jalla is code number 85. Other ones here, Allahu itself is code number 81. Other one, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is here, code number 114. And then, which one did we talk about? Alayhi Salam is code number 117. Radiallahu anhu is code number 116. It's 116, 116, and so on. Now, these are the codes. So if you forget to select this, but at least you are able to go and type the code and do this selection and type the code here, it will definitely jump you to that particular style. And then you can just insert. I mean, if you insert, you see my Word document. Have you seen that it has inserted here? Have you seen that it has been inserted? Can you see the insertion here? Can you see the, I hope you can see what I'm showing you. Can you see that it has been inserted? So if you click insert, it will insert. Have you seen that, please? Yes, okay, good. So that is one way. The other way is, look, I don't want to be doing this insert thing, right? I don't want to be doing that. What I want to do is, I want, when I type certain characters, it will just appear. If I type radiallahu anhu, it will shape itself into that, okay? If I want to do that, now let me show you what has been done here. For instance, let me give you an example of that. You see this word, Eidun Sa'idun. Eidun Sa'idun, for instance, a Happy New Year or something like that. This word is Eidun Sa'idun, and it's code number 112. Now, I don't want to insert from this side. I don't want to insert it like this. I don't want that. What I want to do is if I type Eidun Sa'idun to change to this, what I do is I go to autocorrect. Now, note this. So, symbol, AGA Arabesque, autocorrect. If I click on autocorrect, it will bring up another dialog box. Now, if you see that dialog box, you will see that particular style here. You see the style here. So I will just type here, Eidun Sa'idun. I won't put any wasali, okay? Eidun Sa'idun. So if I type Eidun Sa'idun, which means I want the system to replace this Eidun Sa'idun always with this style. So I will just add it. So click add. If I add it, I will say okay. When I say okay and close this, so anytime I come here and I type Eidun Sa'idun, when I enter, it will change. So that is exactly what I did with the rest of the characters, the one that I show you in the small video that I shared. Okay. So for instance, in my case, because I've already programmed it, if I type Radiyallahu Anhu, you see Allah, my Allah has changed this because I always write Allah like that. Okay. But if I type this Allah, for instance, like this, with a shadda, okay, on it, it will not change to Allah because in the system, I only type Allah without shadda. So it will allow it because it doesn't know this one as a style. Radiallahu anhu, for instance. That's it. Sorry. Radiallahu anhu. If I do that, okay, radiallahu anhu will not change because I have changed my Allah. Let me take alayhi salam. Alayhi salam. Okay, is that why do we find alayhi salam changing this way? Is because if you go into that insert symbol, more symbols, if you go into the arabesque and you go to my alayhi salam, is here. Have you seen my alayhi salam? And if you go into the autocorrect, I have already attached this alayhi salam with, let me show you, it's here. Okay, let me type alayhi salam. Okay, so you see my alayhi salam is here. So I've already assigned the alayhi salam to this particular style. So anytime I type alayhi salam, I will have this. Anytime I type radiyallahu anhu in this way, I will see that. Anytime I type sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a certain, I mean, all the typings I will do here, and it will represent whatever style I selected, and then I'll just say add, and then okay, okay. So you can see my Bismillah Rahman Rahim, it has been changed, or I am using this particular Bismillah for that particular style, and so on. So basically what we do is, let me just do that quickly so we finish. Basically what we do is, I open my Word document, and already I have Arabic I can type Arabic. Then I open my Word document, I go to insert, I go to symbols, more symbols. By default, this is what you will see, like this, for instance. You see something like this, you have so many options. Either if you know the code, you type the code of that particular style here, it will show you straight, go to the style, or you go by the process of selecting the Arabesque, AGA Arabesque here, then it will bring you all the Arabic styles, okay? Arabic is actually Arabic styles, you know, and then you select that particular style you want. For instance, Ramadan. You see Ramadan here. If I select Ramadan, and with that design, and I decide to say, okay, this Ramadan, I want to create a short code for it. In this case, I'm not typing Ramadan, a short code for it. So I come here, and when I say, I click on Control R, okay? Control R, for instance. Control R, this is it. I'm assigning Control R to this particular Ramadan word. If I say assign and close, so you can see here, shortcut, Control R. So Ramadan will always accept Control R from me. So anytime I come here on my Word document and I type Ramadan, Control R. If I type Control R, it will give me that Ramadan. So in this case, Control R will be enough for me. So I can also say, for instance, I have in this document, if I type, for instance, Control AA, it will give me Allah. So this is something I have already programmed. Control AA, that's my shortcut for Allah designed, Control AA, or something like that. So you can always do that, and then you will get all the necessary, my Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, my Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all has been programmed. If you go into insert symbols, and then you select AGA Arabesque, and then you have these signs, all what you have to do is click on what you want as a design, either to do autocorrect by typing what you want to represent this particular word, what you want to represent this particular word, it will, or you create a short code for that particular style here. If you click here, press new shortcut. When we short key, if you do that, that particular short key will represent this particular word you have selected here, okay? And you close this. So that one becomes peculiar to your computer, peculiar to this particular style, okay? But if you move to another computer, you have to reprogram these shortcuts and these autocorrect. So these are the two main buttons actually for you to do that operation. I hope that is well understood for those who have joined us, and hope you will make good use of it and probably discover more use of these symbols. And hopefully you have benefited. Jazakumullah khair.
No, Ustaz. Salam alaikum, Ustaz.
Wa alaikum assalam, Abdul Majid.
It's lovely that I got it.
This guy. But I've shown you all the things.
Right? I forgot.
It's the same way you look for your Daga Alif. You know this Daga Alif is an assignment to you, and you didn't do the assignment, and today you're asking me to do my own assignment, right? Huh? Abdul Majid. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm doing research for you.
The Daga Alif was an assignment. It's here. If I type Isa, in my own case, if I type Isa, and then I type Maya, I can always do that. And then control. Okay, so let me show you how we do that. The same thing, let's go into symbols. So you go into insert symbols here, okay? More symbols. And then you look for your Daga Alif. Now, this is my Daga Alif. Have you seen it here?
Yes.
Have you seen it? So now the code is 0670. So this is the code you are looking for. 06. Are you following me?
No, Ustaz.
That is your code. So just type this code here, and whatever Word document you are using, it will bring you out the Daga Alif. If it brings the Daga Alif, you go into shortcut, and then you create your shortcut. This is my shortcut for my Daga Alif. Have you seen it? All text. So you will create your own shortcut inside here. So if you press on any shortcut, either Control A, Control B, Control C, whatever shortcut you create, you click here. Anytime you click that shortcut on your keyboard, it will give you the dagger alif. So look for the dagger alif in your Word document, okay? And then create the shortcut for it, okay? If you like, you can even go here and autocorrect. You type dagger alif and then the dagger alif will appear if you like, okay? So that's the only way to do that, okay? I hope we have learned something.
No.
Oh, yeah, Assalamu alaikum. And I hope when I send you some other students to know these things, you will be able to teach them, right?
They'll pay consultation fee, Ustaz.
No?
They'll pay consultation fee.
Okay, that is for you. Okay, Abdul Majid, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I will take everybody mute now and we'll go back to our classes, inshallah. Okay. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Yes, you have to start practicing it immediately, Abdul Manaf. Alhamdulillah, we spent about 10 to 12 minutes to do a small learning thing with some of you, but alhamdulillah, hopefully you will pick it up from there, because a lot of the time when we use our computers, we would like to also upgrade it with the Arabic so that it will be easy for us typing, downloading, searching, and so on with our Arabic keyboards. And so it's very important for us to know the how to enable those Arabic scripts and those Arabic options that we have with the technology. Anyway, so we go straight to our discussion, and our discussion is coming to, you know, we are descending now, right? We're in day number 8. And alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, the next week by Tuesday we'll be finishing this particular course, but we will do a lot of exercise for a better understanding. But today we're going to look at bits and pieces of additional concepts in Nahu. As I said, the major things have been discussed now. The actual structure has been discussed now between us. The understanding of the kalima, the understanding of the murakkabat naqisa, or what we call shibhi jumla, if you wish, and then the discussion about the jumla. We are going to stay at the jumla because definitely that's where we will stay, right? Jumla. But you know, the moment jumla is mentioned, as a Nahu student, the moment jumla is mentioned, you have to ask yourself, what are the words, what are the kalimat, and what are the fragments in there? You have to do that. And these are the steps. So these steps go on at the back of your mind anytime you do an i'rab. So anytime we are asked to do an i'rab, okay? Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, for instance, qul li azwajik. You have been given an ayah. It doesn't matter where the ayah is, what the hadith is, or an Arabic expression. You listen to the ayah, the whole of it, read it once, read it twice, and read it 3 times. And then now determine how many words are there. Ismun, fi'lun, fi'lun, ismun, harfun, 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 ismun, ismun. You do that separation. Then you come and say, okay, how many idafas are there? I mean, don't think about the meaning first. Don't think about the meaning. How many idafas? Mawsu, sifa, jar, wa majrur, ismul ishara, bashar, ilay. Okay. Now, which means when you come to do translation, very easy for you to really comprehend, because you know idafa is a possession. So this of that, that's idafa. Mawsuf sifa is a description. So this describes that. It's an adjective. Jar wa majrur is just a harf doing an action on another kalima. So the jar majrur, the jar and majrur is just one concept. So you look at them as one. If you see ism al-ashara and mushar ilayh, the same thing. If the ism after it is having alif al-lam, the same thing. If you see inna in the inna and the ism, wherever it is, because it allows distance, look for in. The moment you see either inna, anna, ka anna, bi anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla, look for the ism. You have to quickly look for its ism, because if you see the ism, then both become mubtada, because both are considered one. Now, you do these exercises in your mind before you even attempt translating. And so we have been mentioning this, that, look, you don't need to be memorizing vocabularies. Yes, vocabularies are good, but you get to know vocabularies with time. But if you're able to know these rules, that this sentence started with an ism, so it's ismiya, so I'm looking for mubtada khabar. This sentence started with fi'l, so I'm looking for fi'l, fa'il, maf'ul, and so on. These things go in your mind as you read, as a now student, and as wanting to understand the Quran. So it's easy, really, to pick it up if you are able to go through these processes. Okay, number one, read the ayah fully from the beginning to the end, again and again, at least 3 times. Look into it. Are you able to separate all the kalimat? Yes, no. If no, you need to do that. Separate the kalimat. Okay, these are kalimat. But what are the fragments? How many fragments do I have here? Okay, I only have idafa, 2 idafas, and 1 jar majroor. Good. Now let me try getting the meaning. The moment I know idafa is about this of that, for instance, okay, or an a special mudaf, which always comes with it mudaf ilayhi, right? Or a particular dhamir attached to an ism, isn't it? These are the 3 types of idafa. Mawsuf sifa is only one way. You see one kalima describing the other, and both of them having the same properties. Jar wa majroor, very easy. You see the batakalawa min fi an ala hatta ila with another ism in front of it, and you know that any of those batakalawas, ism that comes after it is in trouble. It has to be majroor. The jar sign is also not only kasra, but jar can be ayni, it can be ina, it can be atin, and it can even be ya if it is with the special asma al-khams. Okay, so if you know these things, these bits and pieces of concepts, it's easy for you to start even understanding the meaning of the ayah without you looking at the translation. So this is an attempt, really, a very humble one, for us to do this. And so let's put this in our mind as we go forward, so that we wouldn't be intimidated. One of the things I told you at the beginning of this course is don't be intimidated. A lot of the time we have gone through the very difficult way of understanding the Quran, but we think with this process we can find it a little bit easier, particularly if we make efforts to apply and make efforts to say, from today on, when I'm reading the Quran, I'm not going to just read at it as reading. I will be looking at certain things. Very easy. For instance, I know my huruf al-jar. Now, anytime I'm reading and I see a harf jar, I look at the ism after it. Because harf jar doesn't allow distance. So I will see the ism after it, and I should be able to know if that ism is majrurun bil kasra, or is majrurun bi ayni, or is majrurun bi atin or ina. I mean, these are the things, right? If I see idafa, I have to ensure that the ism after the mudaf ilayh is majrur, and I will see the sign of jar there. If the sign of the jar there is kisra or ayni or ina or atin, or even if it is ya in the case of asma al-khamsa. These things, believe me, are individual efforts that we need to do. It doesn't matter where you have gone to school, it doesn't matter, but at least you're able to understand it. And when you do it on your own, move a step further, particularly most of you who are mu'allimin, to teach other people, other persons who want to understand the language without necessarily, who want to understand the Quran without necessarily learning the Arabic language. Okay, so please let's get this mindset. I like talking about this a lot of the time because it's actually a mindset thing. You know, it's a mindset. We are made to understand that Arabic is difficult too. Arabic is difficult too. So all of us are like that. Arabic is difficult, and the Quran is with us. So who is going to interpret it for us? We leave it maybe for the few of those who have gone to the Jamia Islamia, the Qatar, the Azhar, and those to come. And if they are not there, then what? What about some of us who are not able to go there? So what we are saying is that, look, you can also understand it in your own way by going through some of these courses. Okay. So today we are going to discuss more of Jumla, and then we are going to look at some peculiar concepts. Okay, inshallah. Let me share with you my slides. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so I hope you can see my slides. Now, this is Jumla. It's S.A.I.D. It's not Said Khalifa. Okay, the school is S.A.I.D. It's not Said. The S.A.I.D. is is an abbreviation. Hey, a senior senior Khalifa. Anyway, thank you, thank you. We hope you will keep on giving us the push. Okay, inshallah. Okay, now Jumla Ismiya versus Fi'liya. Now we are at the level of Jumla, so now we are gone past Kalimat. Who told you we are now big boys? Above Kalimat, we are above the fragments. Now we are at Jumla level. Now this is where the issue is, and we want to know how to differentiate between Jumla Ismiya and Fi'liya. And what is it about Jumla Ismiya and Fi'liya and the components of Jumla Ismiya and Fi'liya? How do I deal with them the moment I see them in front of me? What should I be looking at? Okay. Now here, for instance, when we say Nasara al-Muslimu, so Nasara al-Muslimu is a sentence, it's a jumla. But what kind of jumla is it? Anytime you hear pa 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 is fi'l madi, please don't even think a lot. Anything pa 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 is fi'l madi, okay? Daraba, shariba, zahaba, don't even think. We'll come to sarf. When we come learn about sarf, you get to realize that, okay, so this one cannot be an ism. So alhamdulillah, anytime I hear papa is a fi'l, okay? So it's a fi'l madi. And then we have al-muslimu. Now remember what I said the other time, that anytime we see a fi'l in the huwa form, so nasara, huwa. You remember nasara huwa, nasara huma, nasaru hum, nasarat hiya, nasarata huma, nasarna hunna, nasarta anta, nasartuma antuma, nasartum antum, nasarti anti, nasartuma antuma, nasartunna antunna, nasartu ana, and then nasarna nahnu. This is nasara huwa. Then al-muslimu. Then you ask yourself, okay, if this is nasara and the dua is huwa, what about this al-muslimu? Why is it khabar mubtada? No, there's no mubtada here because there is jumla fi'liya. So we are looking for fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul. So this is a fi'il. Even though there is an inside dua, you don't say the dua is huwa. What you do is look into the sentence to the end. Is there any ism marfu'? If you see any ism marfu' to your left, then that is the fa'il. It doesn't matter if it is just here. It doesn't matter if it is at the end. If, as far as it is inside that jumla, and you are able to know that the whole of this is one jumla, then that rafa ism would be the fa'il, no matter what. Okay, good. So Nasara al-Muslim, Muslim is the fa'il of Nasara. The other thing we learn here is that anytime we see the fa'il in the huwa or here form, Nasarat, for instance, don't quick to say that the fa'il is huwa. Don't quick in doing that. Don't go quick in doing that. Hold on and look if there is any rafa'ism. If there is any rafa'ism, that rafa'ism is the fa'il. If there is none, then the fa'il is inside huwa. I hope that is clear. So Nasara al-Muslimu, Muslim fa'il. Nasara al-Muslimani, again, al-Muslimani fa'il. But it's still Nasara. So this is an outside dua, another outside dua. This is what we call al-fa'il al-baris. Okay, it's open, you can see it. Okay, the fa'il is not damir mustatir, it's not inside here, it's not mustatir, but it is barid. The fa'il is here. How do I know if the fa'il is, if the fa'il should be outside or inside? That's what I've just mentioned. Look into the sentence after the fa'il. Any rafa'ism is the fa'il. If there is no rafa'ism, then the fa'il is inside. Okay. If Muslim, this is the explanation. If al-Muslim is in the beginning, it cannot be a fa'il. Very important. So if, for instance, you see, Nasara al-Muslim, but here al-Muslimu Nasara. This one is not Jumla fi'liya. This one is Jumla ismiya. Why? Because it starts with an ism. Here is Jumla fi'liya because it starts with a fi'l. If it is fi'liya, we are looking for fi'il, fa'il, and maybe maf'ul bihi, and maybe muta'alliq bil fi'l. But majorly, jumla fi'liya is made up of fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul. Khalifa, I hope that is clear. Okay. Okay. Then al-Muslimu, Nasara, Muslimu will be mubtada. Nasara will be fi'il, but it is a jumla, a complete jumla. So you will say Nasara fi'il madi and the dua is huwa. So Nasara huwa, the whole of Nasara, the fi'il and the fa'il is fi mahalli rafa. It's also in the position of rafa, it becomes khabar. Because mubtada is always in rafa status and khabar is also in the rafa status. But though this is not an ism, it is a fi'il. So the fi'il here, as we said, every fi'il is a jumla. You will say the fi'il here and its fa'il are in the position of rafa khabar. Okay, they become the khabar or the predicates of this particular. So the main major information here is that if an ism starts a sentence, it cannot be jumla fi'liya, it is ismiya. The fi'il inside becomes khabar, but you have to say the fi'il and the fa'il are the khabar. Okay, the whole sentence. Al-Muslimani nasara. Then al-Muslimuna nasaru. Now note between this nasara, nasara, nasara and nasara, nasara, nasaru. What's the difference? The difference here is that if the jumla is fi'liya, then the fa'il is outside. Then it doesn't matter the number of the fa'il. Okay? It doesn't matter the number. The fi'il will still be in huwa form. Okay? In fact, it doesn't even matter the gender. The dua will also be in hiya form. So we'll come to see that. But if the jumla is ismiya, then the fi'il that will come after the mubtada, it matters because this mubtada and this one is informing about that. Because it is informing about that, the number matters. So if this is Muslimun, that is Nasara. If it's Muslimani, then Nasara. Because this is giving information about that. So it cannot give an information and be in a singular form, while what is given an information of is pair or plural. I hope that is clear. So because it is the whole of this fa'il and fa'il is the khabar, and it is given khabar, is given the labari. Wannan yana ba da labarin wannan. To yaya zai ba da labarin wannan kuma yana ba da labarin abu da ya zamo jam'a kuma shi ya zamo fi mufrad. It cannot be in mufrad. It cannot be in muthanna because it's explaining or giving an information about a plural ism. But here, the first beginning, the word itself, which is a fi'il, can only be in huwa form. Okay, because it's in itself, it can be a jumla. So you start with huwa form. Okay, that's the difference there. In the second sentence, that is this one, we do not confuse the conversion of ism with the conversion of fi'il. So the fi'il here starts the sentence. The ism here starts the sentence. If a fi'il starts a sentence and the fa'il is outside, then the fi'il will only be in huwa form if it is masculine. Of course, if the fa'il is masculine. Okay. If the fa'il is feminine, then the fi'il will also be feminine, but then it will be in hiya form. But if it is a jumla ismiya, then if the khabar is a sentence, the sentence must reflect the number only, the number. So the difference between the first set of 3 and second set of 3 is that you have an inside fa'il in the second set, right? You have an inside fa'il in the second set. Okay, in the first set, the outside dua, the fa'il, so it fires the fa'il that is inside. So it prevents the fa'il of here, the inside fa'il here from working. It makes it silent because I mean, if I'm outside, I can be seen and I have to be more powerful than you, the inside one. Okay, so we call this fa'il and we call this mubtada. Okay, good. Okay, let's go further. A closer translation of the second set of the sentence would be the Muslim helped, right? So in this case, so the Muslim helped, okay? The Muslim helped, right? The two Muslims both help, al-Muslimani, okay? Al-Muslimani nasara, and then the Muslims, they help, al-Muslimani nasaru, okay? And for the feminine is the same thing, al-Muslimatu nasarat, al-Muslimatani nasarata. You can see that the feminine is reflecting the feminine, and then the number is reflecting the number, okay? Al-Muslimatani nasarata, al-Muslimatu nasarna. So you have to apply the number and gender to both when the fi'l is an ism. So if the fi'l is if the fi'l comes after the ism, then it has to reflect the gender and the number. Okay, but if the fi'l comes before the fa'il, and the fa'il is an outside fa'il or an outside doer, then it does not matter the number of the it does not matter the number of the doer or which is outside. The fi'l will always be in a singular form. So you have huwa or here. So the rule says when the fi'l is before the rafa ism, then it's a jumla fi'liya. Okay, the fi'l remains huwa or here. Therefore, only gender has to match. Okay, but the number does not matter. So you say nasarat al-muslimatani. So nasarat, even though this is muslimatani and they are two, but the fi'l is for singular. It's nasarat. It reflects only the gender. Okay, the number does not matter. That is because the jumla is fi'liya. And when the fi'l is after the ism, then it is jumla ismiya. Then the fi'l must match. In this case, the fi'l must match the ism in number and gender. So we have al-muslimatani nasarata. You can't say al-muslimatani nasarat. No, al-muslimatani nasarata. Then we come to fi'l amr. We have discussed this yesterday. We said the commands sends observations about commanding and the common sense about observations and commanding and forbidding. Commanding and forbidding, what are the common sense that we learned about them yesterday? We said that you cannot command in the past. You can only command in the present. You cannot command someone who isn't there. Okay? You cannot command someone who is not there. You can only command the you versions, right? You in English, right? Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antuna in Arabic, right? Number three, it's easier to forbid than to command, right? We said you can to forbid, you just have to add la to the fi'l mudari and make the fi'l mudari jazm. So yakzibu la takzib, or takzibu la takzib. Takzibu is fi'l mudari. You are lying. La takzib, do not lie. You just remove, you just make the takzibu takzib. It becomes la takzib. That's how easy it is. But to make to make a forbidding, you just put a la in front of the fi'il that is lightest, but in second person. Don't forget. Okay. So you say anta tansuru. Okay, you help. Okay. This one becomes la tansur, do not help. So I just bring the la and I make this jazm. The difference between a statement and forbidding, we mentioned this yesterday. Tahzanuna becomes la tahzanu. Okay. Tahzanuna, la tahzanu, the noon drops because of this la. And this la is known as la, the forbidden la. Okay. La and nahiya. We mentioned that la and nafiya can come here. Okay. If I say la tahzanuna, I mean you do not get sad. Okay. You do not get sad. That's different from la tahzanu. Do not be sad. Okay. Now, steps to make command. We said the command is more difficult to do than the forbidden, right? To make a command, first of all, make the fi'l lightest. In the case of tujahiduna, how do we make it lightest? It becomes tujahidu, the noon drops. The second thing, you delete the first letter, delete the ta of present, right? Because you want to make it a command. So you delete the anita ta. So it becomes jahidu. Now, jahidu, as it is, if the new first letter has a haraka, like ja, that means it's pronounceable and you can pronounce it. So you are done. So this becomes the command. So jahidu, okay, jahidu. Okay, this is a particular family of words. When you come to sarf, you come to learn them. Okay, these are the family. I think number 3. You know, they are the fa'ala words. Okay, like jahada, sahama, sharaka, and so on. These ones can be pronounced, so you say you leave them as they are. But if the new first letter has a sukun, if it has a sukun, okay, it is given an alif that is known as a helper alif. Okay, and that helper alif can either be in the u sound or e sound. Yesterday we mentioned how to make it U or E? Or how do we determine if it is U or E? It's very easy. You go to the mudari, normal mudari level, and then you look at the last but one half. If it is kisra, then you make it E. If it is dhamma or fatha, you make it U. If the second last letter has U, like the second last letter of the mudari, right? Then the helper alif gets U. Or sorry, U, right? Otherwise, it will get E. Okay. And then we did these exercises yesterday. Some of us were here, right? And we tried our hands on knowing the command, the forbidden, and observation. So we won't spend more time on here. We'll take a very short break and come back and talk about Kena and its sisters. Please don't go away. Inshallah, we'll come back shortly and do some discussions about Kena and its sisters. Stay on. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'm sorry for the short delay. You can see a poll pop up on your screen. Please, as we go, you can fill it up for me, just to give us a feedback of what we are doing so far. We are just answer it, and we'll get the result, inshallah, before we finish the class, inshallah. Okay, jazakumullah khair. Now, let's go straight onto the screen. So see what we have. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen now. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Hopefully we'll be able to do something. Time is already fast spent. Okay, sorry, brother Imran. You are asking about keyboard. Which country's Arabic keyboard is recommended? Well, any of them. Arabic is Arabic. You can use any of them. But mainly, I actually picked the Saudi Arabia one. That is mostly used. So I just picked Saudi. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's look at kana wa akhwatuha. Kana wa akhwatuha. Now, what is this kana wa akhwatuha? A lot of the time, when people hear inna wa akhwatuha, they want to also hear kana wa akhwatuha. Now, what's so interesting about these two concepts is that you realize that when we say fragment, we mention inna and its sisters, and then the ism. But in the case of kana, we don't say kana and its sisters with its ism, right? It's not a fragment. Now, why is it not a fragment? A very big question, very important, right? Why is kana and its ism not a fragment? Maybe some of you might have been asking about this, but you remember when we said that inna and the sisters, they go on to, they apply to isms. But kana, though it precedes an ism, but it can also precede a fi'l. So kana itself is a fi'l, actually, but it's half fi'l. It's half fi'l because it doesn't have a fa'il. So that we say that fi'l madi, it is fi'l madi naqis. And the word naqis means it has no fa'il, but it has ism, an ism of it. So because it's a fi'l, it goes out of that category of fragments, because fragments has to do with isms generally, okay? Ism or ism harf. No fi'l in the relation of, that's one of the things we said we are going to mention to clarify the fragments. And that's why kana is not part of those fragments. Kana is a fi'l, so kana, though it's a fi'l, it doesn't have a fa'il, it has the ism of kana. Ism, so kana and its ism make up the mubtada again, okay? But though it also does that way, it goes into an ism, and kana can also precede a fi'l, okay? Kana can precede a fi'l, unlike inna and the sisters. Inna and the sisters can only precede an ism, okay? Good. Now, these are the sisters of kana, and that is Sarah, Laysa, Asbah, Bata. I hope I brought Bata somewhere, yeah? Okay. Sarah, Bata, Sarah, Laysa, Asbah, Adha, Amsa, Zalla. These are the sisters, okay? Now, what is this? What is so significant about them is that they are more of, we call them fi'l madi naqis, okay? But that's all we say about them. And they can also become mudari. They can become amr, except laysa, of course. Okay, laysa is only in madi. It cannot be in mudari or amr. Okay, we'll see about that. Apart from that, the rest can be conjugated as such, but we'll just only pick few of them, kana, asbaha, and adha, as well as laysa for the purpose of this particular course. Now, what is it about the kana and its sisters, and what is so important for us to know in this particular course that we are taking. What we say here is that Hannah and its sisters, following are the three af'als from the list of incomplete verbs. We call it incomplete verbs. That's the meaning of naqis, okay? Conjugations are available at the end of this chapter. Inshallah, we'll see how the conjugations go. But kana yakunu means to be, asbaha yusbihu, to become. Laysa is not, so this only in the past, okay? Asbaha yusbihu, isbih, kana yakunu kun, okay? Fil madi mudari amr. Remember, kana and the sisters are called af'al naqisa. What's naqisa? Af'al is the jamu of fa'il. That's fi'ils that are incomplete, or verbs in this case that are incomplete. They are action words that are incomplete. I don't like using the verb, even though my ustads here use the word verb. The fi'il that are incomplete, okay? Constructs are, it's constructed as fi'il, jumla fi'liya, but grammatically labeled as jumla ismiya, because the kana itself is a fi'il naqis, okay? And so the construction itself, the construct itself, we say it is kana, and the sisters, all those constructs, they are fi'liya, but then grammatically, we don't say it is, we don't conjugate them as, or we don't label them as fi'liya because there is no fa'il, okay? So that's what we say here. The dua is always marfu. Now the dua in that case, which is marfu, becomes the ism, okay? We don't say the dua, we don't say fa'il here. That's why it's in quotes. It's not, it doesn't have a fa'il. That's why it's in quotes. The dua in this case is the ism. Okay, so when we say kana al-waladu na'iman, kana al-waladu na'iman. So waladu, it sounds more like waladu, like fa'il, marfu, right? But in this case, we don't say it's marfu, we say the ism of kana. And then na'iman is the khabar of kana, instead of us saying the detail or the maf'ul. Okay, it's mansub. We don't say fa'il maf'ul, we say ism kana and khabar kana. Okay, we all know this. Example, Fatima is a student. Fatima tu talibatun. Okay, Fatima tu talibatun. Mubtada, khabar. Rafa, rafa. Mubtada is always marfu, khabar is marfu. Kanat, kanat. You remember this? Whatever we hear, it is for the female or feminine singular. Kanat Fatima tu talibatan. Now note this. 2, 10. So 2, it maintains the rafa status of the mubtada. Mubtada is always marfu, so it doesn't touch this one. But the khabar, which is supposed to be marfu, it now becomes mansub. So what we say is that kana would make the khabar nasb, okay? Because mubtada is always rafa. So you don't say, I mean, this is what we used to say, that tarfa'ul mubtada wa tansabul khabar. But actually mubtada is always marfu. So actually that expression needs to also be looked at, because mubtada is always marfu. So actually it doesn't affect the mubtada, because mubtada is always marfu. But in our own, you know, learning, I remember we used to say kana akhwatuha tarfa'ul mubtada. But if you say tarfa'ul mubtada, كأن المبتدا قد تكون منصوبة لأن المبتدا أصلا مرفوعة. So we say in this particular context, we say kana and its sisters, they affect the khabar by making the khabar nasb, but they maintain, or they don't affect the mubtada. Mubtada will still be marfu. Tusbihu Fatimatu talibatan. To tusbihu is fi'l mudari' naqis, okay? And then Fatimatu ismu tusbihu or ismu asbaha, and then talibatan khabar. Laysat Fatimatu talibatan. Laysat Fatimatu talibatan. So laysat fi'l madi naqis, okay? And then Fatimatu is the ism of laysa, and then ismu laysat, and then taliba khabar of laysat. Okay, okay? So we say the dua in this case is put in quotes because it's actually not the dua. Note, it is not the dua. It's actually being shown because you will feel as if kana is a doing, as an action word. Okay, to become, for instance, he was. So become or was. Okay, was is more like an auxiliary verb. So we are expecting to have a dua of that verb. But in this case, it's not a dua, but we say the ism of kana. Okay. So we say the dua of kana is the outside dua. That in this case, Fatima is the ism of kana, just like any other jumla fi'liya. The outside dua is after the fi'il. Yes, it's also after the fi'il and marfu. Okay, so the fi'il should be conjugated in either here or huwa form, as we know. Okay, we said that if the dua is outside like this, then it will affect the gender of the fi'l accordingly. Okay, but the fi'l would have to be in huwa or hiya form only. Okay, you can say takununa here. If you say takununa, then the dua will have to be inside. Okay, the detail is the student mansub, talibatan, talibatan, talibatan. It's always mansub. That's the details. But in the i'rab, okay, we say Fatima ismu laysat, and then taliba khabar laysat. Okay, Quranic gem here we say when kana is used with Allah or with the lafz jalala, it means was and has always been and will always be. Now note, even though the meaning of kana is was, but in the Quran we don't say Allah was. Kana Allahu ghafurur rahiman. We don't say Allah was forgiven. We don't say he was. We always say Allah was and has been and will always be. Okay, in the tafsir, that's how we do translate kana. Okay, so kana with some harfs. These are some of the examples. Since they are still fails, that is kana and her sisters, can be used with harfs. Okay, that we learned when making the jumla fi'liya. You remember the harfs, right? The harfs of nasb and harf of jazm, the harfs of light and lightest. Okay, they can also be used with asbaha and yusbihu, and amsa and yumsi and kana yakunu. So hatta is one of the harf of nasb. It makes the fi'l mudara light. So yusbihu is fi'l mudara light. Okay, and the dua here or the ism of yusbihu is huwa, and the musliman is the khabar of yusbihu. Lan is another harf. Okay, that can cause the fi'l mudara to be light, and the light sign is here the dropping of the noon. Okay, and then so we say lan is harf of light, yakunu is fi'l mudara light because of the noon dropping, and then the one that caused the noon to drop is this lan, and the dua or the ism of yakunu here is inside. Mostly we don't say dua, please, we say the ism of yakunu. Kafirina becomes the khabar. Mansubun bi aini. Aini is the sign of nasb here, not fatha. Note that. Linakuna, okay, you remember this li? Wal falli. So linakun. 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 You know there is li, half of light, and the li, half of lightest. There are two li's. In fact, there's another li, half of jar. So be careful, okay? But this one is half of lightest. Linakun. Mudarrisin. And it means should be or should. Okay? So nakun is fi'l mudara, lightest, because of this li. Okay? And then the ism of nakun is nahnu, because it's inside. And the mudarrisina is khabar of nakun. Idhan, half of light. Nakuna. Nakuna is originally nakunani. Oh, sorry. Takuna is originally takunani. The nun has dropped in this case because of the idhan, which causes it to be light by dropping the nun. And the dua here, or the ism of takuna, is takunani, or takuna is antuma. Musafiraini, khabar of takuna. So we still maintain that kana and its sisters will maintain making the ism rafa, and then it will make the khabar nasb. Very important, okay? In tusbihi talibatan yusbih karimun taliban. In tusbihi, so this in is another harf of lightest, harf jazm, but it is also a harf of condition. Okay, shartiyun wa jazm. Okay, so it's a conditional harf. It causes the fi'l mudara, two fi'l mudaras, in fact, to be light. So to be lightest. And it causes this to be lightest because it is ina, so the dropping of the noon, and yusbih by making it lightest, by making it jazm. So inna adat shartin wa jazm tajzam fi'layn mudari'ayn فيكون الفعل الأول فعل شرط والفعل الثاني جواب شرط. Okay, this is the fi'l of condition. We'll look at fi'l shart and jawab shart on Monday, inshallah, where we look at conditional statements. Okay, so the cause of this jazm and that jazm on the fi'ls is the in. Okay, ma kanu. Okay, ma kanu, ma nafiya. Kanu is one of the harf of light. Half of light, and then it makes this one light. Sorry, half of lightest, right? Rather, it makes this one lightest. Okay, makanu, and then it the dua there is hum. Okay, or the ism there is hum in this case, and then muslimina is the khabar of kanu. Okay, lam is another half of lightest. It dropped the noon of fi'l mudara here, and then the dua is hum. Again, yakununa. It's originally yakununa, hum. Muslimina is the khabar of yakunu. So basically, these are examples of how harfs can precede the kana and its sisters, because kana and its sisters are partly considered as fi'ls, right? These are some of the examples. Lam yakun min as-sajidin. Lam yakun. So you see, lam is one of the illam, lamma wal falli. Okay, it causes the fi'l mudara to be lightest. So lam yakun. There is sukun here. Yakun huwa. Yakun huwa. So the huwa is the ism of yakun. Okay. Min as-sajidin jar wa majrur muta'alliq bi khabar. Okay. Always jar wa majrur is muta'alliq bi khabar. Please note, this one is not khabar. You can say min as-sajidin khabar, but muta'alliq bi khabar. Alaysa al-a is harf istifham. We are also going to look at huruf al-istifham next week. There are a lot of them, but only two are harfs, hal and a. The rest are asma'ul istifham, like man, kaifa, aina, and so on. But this one is a, like alam tara kaifa. So hamza is harf al-istifham. That is how you do its identification. It has no any i'rab position. Okay. Laysa is fil mudari, fil madi naqis, sorry. Laysa fil madi naqis, and Allah, who is the ism of laysa. Okay. Bi ahkam al-hakimin, the whole of that is the khabar, is muta'alliq bi khabar. Bi ahkam al-hakimin is muta'alliq bi khabar. Okay. Jar majrur mudaf mudaf ilay. Okay. Waliyakuna, liyakuna. This liyakuna is different from this linakun. This one is harf jazim, and this one is harf nasib. Okay, this li is for the likay. Okay, li or likay. Yakuna fil mudara mansub bilay li. Wa alamat nasbihi al fatha zahira ala akhirih. That's what we say, that the fatha here, the fatha here signifies or indicates that this fil mudara is light, caused by this li. Okay, why is it caused by this li? Because this is a fi'l mudara. It's a fi'l mudara, and every fi'l mudara can be made light by one of these harfs. And the ism of yakunu in this case is yakunu huwa. Yakunu huwa min al-mukinin jar majrur muta'alliq bi khabar. Okay, and again, alhaqu min rabbika fala takun, la takun. Have you seen this la? La is la an-nahiya, do not. It causes this fi'l mudara to become odd, to become lightest. So this one is lightest. It means what makes it lightest is this la an-nahiya. Okay. Takun is fi'l mudara majzub bila an-nahiya. So this la an-nahiya is what caused the lightest. Okay. And then the dua is anta. Okay. Min al-muntarina jar majrur muta'alliq bi khabar. Okay. Qulna ya naru kuni, kuni, kuni. So this is a command, another amr. Kuni, fi'l amr. All fi'l amr are also majzoom, and the noon has been dropped because it's normally takunina. So kuni, kuni. When we made it lightest, okay, when we made it lightest, we didn't need to bring any helper alif. So we say kuni, kuni, and the ism of kun here is anti. Okay, anti kuni. Okay, baddan is the maf'ul. Sorry, is the khabar of kuni. Okay, wasalaman ma'tuf on that in jar wa majrur muta'alliqun bi khabar. Wallahu rabbuna. Sorry, wallahu rabbi, wallahi rabbina ma kunna. Okay, ma kunna. Okay, ma is another harf of nafi. It makes it nafiya. Kunna, kun, and then na. The na is the ism of kana there, and the mushrikina becomes the khabar of kana. Okay. So the grammar of kana and the sisters, when grammatically analyzing kana, the kana sentence, they are considered jumla ismiya. Note this, very important. They are considered jumla ismiya. So a jumla ismiya has three parts, either having the mubtada, khabar, or muta'alliq bi khabar. Okay. In a kana statement, the dua in quote, okay, of the kana is not called fa'il. You don't say it's fa'il, but it's called ism kana, and ism kana is always marfu. Then kana and its ism are the mubtada. So both is kana and the ism are mubtada. Now the detailed hitherto, of course, every fi'il has a detail maf'ul bihi. That's why it's in quote. The detail, because it's not fully failed, so we don't say the detail, we don't say maf'ul bihi. It's not called maf'ul, but it is called the khabar of kana. And the khabar of kana should always be mansub. And the muta'alliq bi khabar rules are the same. The jar wa majroor and the special mudafs. Special mudafs are the zarfs. You remember them, right? These are the MBKs. You remember we said the MBKs are these. MBF is only this one. Okay. These are some of the examples. Muhammad is an imam in the masjid. Oh, Muhammadun imamun. So Muhammadun mubtada, marfu. Imamun khabar, marfu. Okay. Jar wa majroor MBK. Okay. Mubtada khabarun muta'alliqun bi khabar. When I say muta'alliqun bi khabar, note, muta'alliqun bi khabar means this jar wa majroor is related only to the khabar. Okay? Because this khabar gives the information about the imam, but this jar wa majroor give more information about the imam. Okay? Because imam is always in the masjid. Any Muhammad can be anywhere, but imams are always in the masjid, isn't it? So sometimes when we say khabar, you need to know, or muta'alliq bi khabar, you need to know what is the meaning of muta'alliqun bi khabar. Why don't we say it is muta'alliqun bi mubtada? We say muta'alliqun bi khabar because it is giving more details about the khabar. You realize that it gives more information about the khabar more than the mubtada. Because if we say fil masjid, I mean, any Muhammad can be in masjid or not in masjid. One of the Muhammads is a market person, so you can find there. But when we say imam, that's why the fil masjid is related to imam, because imams are, I mean, masjid is related more to imams than to any other Muhammad. Okay, so when we say some of these concepts, one thing we learn about this course is that we don't just say mubtada and then we say it's mubtada, but I made you understand that mubtada means it's from the word bada'a. Ay allazi bada'a jumlatan ismiya, the one that started as a nominal sentence. So when I say mubtada, it's always at the beginning. That's why we say it's jumla. Any jumla ismiya is jumla that started with ism. So the mubtada, ay allazi bada'a. So the word bada'a is in mubtada, the one that started. Okay, so ism that started. And then khabar is story or information, okay, or detail. Khabar gives the information about the mubtada. So mubtada starts a sentence and raises curiosity, whilst the khabar comes and settles that curiosity raised by mubtada. And then muta'alliq bi khabar gives more information about the khabar. Okay. Here we have Muhammad was an imam in the masjid. Again, was came here. Kana. So the only addition here is kana. Kana Muhammadun. You see that Muhammadun is still maintaining the rafa, but imaman. Imaman has now changed. What caused this change? The coming in was of kana. And that's why we say this kana rather affects the khabar, but it does not affect the mubtada. Mubtada stays as it is. Fil masjid, ta'alliq bi khabar. Lan yakuna Muhammadun. Okay, this lan will make yakuna instead of kana. Becomes yakuna instead of yakunu. Yakunu is normal fil mudara. Yakuna is fil mudara light. Why the light? This lan. You remember those harfs. If they precede a fil mudara, they make the fil mudara light. They make the present tense light. So you say yakuna instead of yakunu or yakun. Yakuna. Okay. This fil mudara light. And then the ism yakun is Muhammad. How do I know that Muhammad is ism yakun? I did mention that what you do is, if you see the fi'l, you move to the left. Any ism that is rafa here becomes the ism of kana. And in this case, it's Muhammad. Okay. Imaman is the khabar. And then fil masjid is always muta'alliq bi khabar. Another jumla. Kana an-nasu ummatan wahidatan. Okay. Mubtada, kana an-nasu. So both kana and the nasu is mubtada. That's how we do it. So you don't say kana and then separate the no. Kana an-nasu. Unless if I ask you in details, what is kana? You say it's fil madi. Sorry. Fil madi naqis. But you can say this kana and nasu is mubtada, ummatan khabar, and then wahidatan. So ummatan wahidatan is both khabar, but ummatan and wahidatan are actually mawsuf and sifa. Okay. فَأَصْبَحُوا فِي دَارِهِمْ جَاثِمِينَ. Fa is atifa, Asba'u. You see, asba'u. There's no any rafa ism here. So the dua is inside, hum. So asbahu, hum. Hum is the ism of kana. Sorry, ism of asbaha. And then jar wa majrur fi jar wa majrur muta'alliqun bi khabar. Jasmine is the khabar. So this is jar wa majrur muta'alliqun bi khabar. Okay, this is the khabar in this case. Okay. So this is muqaddam. Yes, we call this muqaddam because it came before what it is related to. So we say this muqaddam and we say this muakhar. The muqaddam simply means it is brought forward. Then muakhar means it is delayed. Because normally it should happen like that, right? Like that. Khabar and MBK. So MBK will always come and give information about the khabar. Muta'alliqun bi khabar. Muta'alliqun bi khabar. But if the khabar comes, if the MBK comes before the khabar, then we say it is muqaddam. So that's where this word muqaddam is here. Means it has been brought forward. Muakhar means it has been delayed. Okay. But that one does not, it's actually, there's something of eloquence here, balaghi, the reason to make exclusive of this particular word, fi darihim, okay, or bring it more forward as a form of information. And then mubtada, in this case, walaysa zakaru kal unsa wa atifa laysa fil madi naqis az-zakaru, the ism of laysa. So this walaysa, the whole of that is mubtada. Ka is harf of jar, al unsa ism majrur. So this jar or majrur is MBK. Where is the khabar? Is hidden. Okay. I laysa zakaru kainun kal unsa. Okay. So the word, the ka'inun, which is inside or which is hidden, is the khabar. So MBK can always not be khabar, but it is muta'alliqun bi khabar. Okay. More examples here. Kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. Okay. Kuni fil amr. Naqis. The ism of kuni is what? Anti. Because there is kuni, ay kunina, takunina, anti. Takunina is actually takunina, that's the fi'l mudara. When we make it lightest, we drop the noon. You remove the ta, so it becomes kuni, is pronounceable, so it is left like that. Okay, kuni, and the dua here is anti. How do I know that the dua is anti? Because if you look in front here, there is no any rafa ism to become the ism of kuni. The ism rather, not the dua. The ism of kuni, you can't see any rafa here. So we say it is inside. Okay, and then bardan wa salaman is the khabar. Okay, bardan is the khabar, wa is atifa, salaman is ma'tuf, and then ala Ibrahim jar wa majrur muta'alliq bi khabar. Okay, then these are the conjugations spoken about earlier. So madi is kana, ya kana. So you remember this table, I believe, all of you, right? So this is singular, pair, plural, right? Singular, pair, plural, and then this is third person, second person, and first person. You remember the table? Please don't forget. So huwa, huma, hum. Here, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. So huwa kana, huma kana, hum kanu. Here kanat, huma kanata, hunna kunna, anta kunta, antuma kuntuma, anti kuntu, antum kuntum, anti kunti, antuma kuntuma, antunna kuntunna, anta kun, sorry, ana kuntu, and nahnu kunna. This is madi. Madi, you can see that there is nothing showing in the beginning. Okay. There is nothing showing in the beginning that shows that it is mudari. So it's madi in this case. And then this is the mudari. Yakunu, yakunu, huwa yakunu, huma yakunani, hunna yakunu, hum yakununa, anta hiya takunu, huma takunani, hunna yakunna, anta takunu, antuma takunani, antum takununa, anti takunina, antuma takunani, antunna takunna, ana akunu, nahnu nakunu. Okay, is the conjugation of that. And then you can make the fi'l mudari light and you can make it lightest. So an lam, izan, kay, and likay, and hatta, any of that can make it light. In lam, lamma, wal falli can make it lightest. Okay. So for instance, an yakuna huwa, an yakuna huma, an yakunu hum, an takun here, an takuna here, an takuna huma, an takun, sorry, an yakunna hunna, أن تكون أنت أن تكونا أنتما أن تكونوا أنتم أن تكوني أنت أن تكونا أنتما أن تكن أنتن أن أكون أنا أن نكون نحن. So an will make it light by dropping the noon or making it light here. Okay. And then in lam lamma wal falli, like in sorry lam yakun. Okay. Huwa lam yakun. Huma lam yakuna. Hum lam yakunu. Here lam takun. Huma lam takuna. Hunna lam yakunna. Anta lam takun. Antuma lam takuna. Antum lam takunu. Anti lam takuni. Antuma lam takuna. Antunna lam takunna. Ana lam akun. Nahnu lam nakun. You remember I told you if you forget your pronouns, forget fail. If you forget your pronouns, you can't conjugate fails. You just have to get your pronouns right. Okay? And then all other things will follow, inshallah. Okay? And then we look at the last conjugation. And then I have one or two questions I'm going to attend to. Okay? So, but inshallah, let's go through the last conjugation of Amr and Nahi. So, Amr, you remember Amr and Nahi only deals with the second persons. Amr and Nahi has nothing to do with first persons and third persons, and that's why it's shorter. Okay, the Amr for Kana is Anta, Kun, Antuma, Kuna, Antum, Kunu, Anti, Kuni, Antuma, Kuna, Antunna, Kunna. Finish. These are the 6 options for Amr. And then for Nahi, these are the options, another 6 options. Anta la takun, antuma la takuna, antum la takunu, anti la takuni, antuma la takuna, antunna la takunna. There's nothing like ana la. You can't command yourself and you cannot command somebody in the past, right? Very important. So these are the pronouns that can happen for Nahi and Amr. And then the last thing here is the Muzakkar and Mu'annas of Laysa. And Laysa can only be in Madi. So you say Laysa, Laysa. So Laysa huwa, Laysa huma, Laysu hum. Lasta anta, lastuma antuma, lastum antum, lastu ana, lastumna, lasna nahnu. Okay. And then we come to the Mu'annas, and then we say Laysat here, Laysata huma, lasna hunna, lasti anti, lastuma antuma, and lastunna antunna. Okay. Very important. So laysa, laysa, laysu, laysa, laysa, laysu. Okay? Huh? Laysat, laysata, lastum, lastu, lasna, and then laysat, laysata, lasna, and then lasti, lastuma, and lastunna. This is very important. Before we do the man and ma in Arabic, let me quickly answer. I think I saw some couple of questions regarding what we have conjugated earlier. Laysa dhakaru kal-untha. Yes, Laysa, we said Laysa dhakaru. Laysa is one of the Kana and his sisters. So we say Laysa fi'l madi naqis. And then Zakaru is the ism of Laysa. Okay, Laysa dhakaru, the ism of Laysa. And then kal-unsa is jar wa majroor MBK. That's what we said. Muta'alliqun bi khabar. So muta'alliqun bi khabar. What is the khabar? I mean, anytime you hear muta'alliqun bi khabar, the khabar can either exist, you can see it physically, or it is in the meaning. And in this case, it is not there, it's in the meaning. And that's why I was trying to explain that what the khabar inside the meaning is ka'inun. Laysa zakar ka'inun. A male is not like unto. Okay? It's not like unto. So that ka'inun is in the meaning. Okay? Laysa zakaru ka'inun kal-unsa. Okay? Okay, it's not, that is not is in the meaning. But you say khabar jar wa majrur muta'alliq bi khabar is understood, suffices grammatically. But in tafsir, you need to go further to explain what the khabar can be in the meaning, right? Because khabar is the one that gives the information. And so when you come to do the translation, you have to give what you are thinking has been, or what can be the muta'alliq. Muta'allaq, okay, the thing that the jar wa majroor is related onto. So that's so the i'rab is very straightforward. In this case, the khabar is not mentioned, so the jar wa majroor is muta'alliqun bi khabar ghayr mazkur. Wal khabar ghayr mazkur, you can make the taqdeer, right? And so what the takdir is what I made earlier on by saying kainun or something like, or mustaqirrun. Okay. And then the other questions is explain alif in front of laysa inverse from Sutti. So there is alaysa Allahu alaysa alaysa Allahu bi ahkam al-hakimin. That's what we mean. So that Hamza, I said Hamza is harf istifham. Finish. That's what we say. It's istifhamiyah. It asks a question. It's language related. Okay, it's language related. It's not nahaw related. So you just say harf istifham. Finish. So the question in front of it is mustafham. The question or something we want to have information about. Okay, alaysa, and we said those have huruf al-istifham. There are actually two of them. The rest are asma'ul istifham. So we have two huruf al-istifham, Hamza and Hal, and they all have the same meaning. These are the harfa al-istifham. The rest are asma al-istifham, and probably we'll look at them on Monday, inshallah. Habiba, is that Habiba? We'll look at the huruf al-istifham, and we'll see how it's used actually in the language. All what we say is that they are question tags. Huruf or harfa al-istifham, Hamza and Hal. These are the two harfs of istifham. We have other asma'ul istifham, and of course, for now, when I say harf and when I say ism, you should know the difference, right? There is something we say, not all harfs in lugha are harfs in nahu. Okay, not all harf in lugha are harfs in nahu, because harfs in nahu only needs an ism to make a meaning, but not all harfs in Arabic or in lugha, you know, needs an ism to make a meaning. I hope it's easy to understand, but for instance, we have huruf al-jar, we have harfa al-istifham, we have huruf nasb al-fi'l, nasb al-mubtada, for instance, huruf inna and its sisters, okay? Adawat nasb, they are all harfs, okay? These are all harfs. So you can say Hamza, in this case, Hamza is a harf in Nahab. But you can say ta, harf ta is a harf in Nahab. That's wrong. Because you can't use ta and add it to any ism to make a meaning or to give a meaning. That is very, very important. So when you say a harf in Nahu, it's quite different from a harf in Lugha. Huruf al-Ijaiya are alif, ba, ta, sa, up to ya. These are all huruf in Nahu, sorry, in Lugha. But in Nahu, no. In Nahu, there are specific harfs. And those harfs are words, kalimat. Note, a harf in Lugha is not kalima. A harf in Nahu is kalima. Okay? No, I'm keeping this for Edmudo, but some of them are breaking it out. No problem. Don't worry. Okay, let's take a very short break and come back for our last part of this particular session. Jazakumullah khair. Please stay on. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you can all hear me. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me, please? Okay. Okay. Jazakumullah khair. Good. So for now, today we have learned some things about the difference between Jumla Ismiya and Fi'liya, particularly where you have an ism and a fi'l in a sentence, and you are not able to detect, is it a Jumla Ismiya or Fi'liya? Sorry. Let's you look at the first word. If the first word is fi'l, then it is Jumla Fi'liya, finish. You just start looking for your fi'l, fa'il, maf'ul. If you see the first word as an ism, then it is Jumla Ismiya, so you are looking to a Mubtada, Khabar, Mubtada, Khabar, and MBK, Muta'alliq bi Khabar. It's a straightforward thing. If you see your Mubtada, Khabar, then most probably that there is going to be a beginning of another sentence if it's an ayah, a long ayah. Fair enough. But if you see your Mubtada, you need to get your Khabar. If you see your fa'il, you will need to look for your fa'il and maf'ul, most probably. So these techniques you need to just put in your mind so that there is nothing like, oh, I can't understand the meaning, because anytime I see my book, and when you see your mubtada, if you don't see your khabar, you cannot understand what the ayah is saying. And that's the trick. If you see your fa'il and you are not quickly able to see where is the fa'il of this fa'il, then you will you start struggling to understand. But if you see your fa'il and you see your fa'il and quickly look for your fa'il, the fasara fa'ism, then you can put them together. Oh, this word al-Muslim. Oh, okay, so it's the Muslim who did the akala. So Rasulullah, also Qala Rasulullah, so it's the Rasulu who did the Qala. You know, that is how you put them together. Because when you say Qala Rasulullah and you don't know who is the fa'il, just after the Qala, look for the Rafa ism. Qala Rasulu, Rasulu. So the Rasulu is the fa'il. Finish. So it's the Rasulu who did the Qala. That's how we move along with the, if it is Jumla Ismiya, for instance, in when you say al-Muslimu nasara, for instance, or al-Muslimu faza, so al-Muslimu is the mubtada, and faza is jumla fi'liya. Of course, anytime you see a fi'l, it's the jumla. So here we say the whole of the jumla becomes the khabar. But then you go into the detail and say the jumla has a fi'l and fa'il inside. And both of them give the idea of the predicate or the khabar of that settles the curiosity raised by the mubtada. So mubtada always raises curiosity, and then the khabar clears the curiosity. But fi'l always mention that an action was done, and then you have to look for who did the action. This is all about, you know, this is the basis of the two kinds of sentences, okay? And then we also learn about another concept of a fi'l that is not a fi'l. A fi'l though, but we call it now is incomplete. Incomplete, why? Because it has no fa'il, it has no doer, but it has an ism, okay, that sits instead of the doer. And so we say the ism of kana. And kana has its own sisters, but we concentrated on only about 3 of them, kana, asbaha, and laysa. And we said kana can be kana yakunu kun, asbaha yusbihu asbih, okay? Asbaha yusbihu asbih. And you know why I said isbih, not usbih? Because I said yusbihu, so bi. So yusbihu, the last but one is bihu in fi'l mudari'. So you have to, if you bring an helper alif, you say isbih, okay? These ones can have madi, mudari, amr, but laysa can only have fi'l madi, laysa. There's nothing like laysa yalisu lis. There's no laysa yalisu, okay? So it's only laysa, and you can have the present, sorry, you can have for masculine and for feminine throughout the pronouns. And please don't forget, anytime we say fi'l, you should be able to conjugate the fi'ls through the pronouns. هو هما هم هي هما هن أنت أنتما أنتم أنتم أنت أنتما أنتن أنا نحن. If you have a fi'l and you are not able to run it through those pronouns, your nahu wouldn't be, in fact, your lugha aspect would even become better if you are able to do that. Just get any fi'l and say, okay, I will try myself. And every fi'l, I should be able to conjugate it through these pronouns. If you are not able to, just give a call to any of us and we'll get you the support. You have to be able to conjugate it from present, past, and future. And then command, future. Future means command and forbidden, okay? You need to be able to do that. And this will become more interesting when we move into sarf. You see, when we start doing sarf, what you will come to know is that amazing things we have learned. Amazing things we have learned of concepts, particularly concepts that have to do with the pronouns, the harfs, the isms, the fails. Wow. If you come to sarf, you will realize it is quite a treasure. Then you will know that, in fact, I can form Arabic words that I have never heard of. I've never heard of those Arabic words, but I will form them and I will tell you that this is an Arabic word and you have to accept it. How? I will just give you root letters. I will give you the root letters and I will give you the formula. And then follow the formula and you will form the words. Then you realize that, okay, so actually I don't need to memorize vocabularies. I just need to know the concept of how the family of words are formed. You know, so I will be able to know that, okay, jahada is like sharaka and wasala and matala, whilst allama is like darraba, darrasa, shakara, and so on. So these are some of the things, but they go hand in hand. Okay, hand in hand. You cannot do the sarf without the nahaw. You need to start nahaw, get grounding in nahaw, because if you come to sarf, you realize that all vocabularies, all words, ism are divided into ism or fail. Harfs are something else. Of course, we're not talking about them in sarf, ism and fi'l. So every kalima in Arabic that is an ism has its own fi'l aspect. Every fi'l has its own ism aspect. Oh, okay. That's why you have istaghfara and mustaghfir. Mustaghfir is an ism, istaghfara is an fi'l. How do I bring all those out? Okay, so ism fi'l would come to get used to how important they are, inshallah, when we come to do sarf. So basically, we are just learning these concepts to put together all the very important concepts about Arabic language. And basically, we have even gone through most of them, the major ones, okay? And today we have added one, and that is fi'l madi naqis, kana and its sisters, okay? Now, quickly, we will look at another concept that is very interesting in addition to what we have learned so far. Let me go back to my slides. I hope you can see my slide. I hope I will be able to finish this quickly. So I will quickly do again those arabesque tricks on Microsoft Word for some of us who were not able to attend it. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we will do this. We'll do this. Okay. Now, look at these words. So we are now going to look at Amin and Ma when they come together. You remember? Now take a look at the following ayah. Tu'allimani mimma tu'allimani mimma 'allimta rushda. Okay. Mimma here, mimma. Are you seeing it? Now, la yus'alu amma and basharum mimma. Have you seen that? Now, these words is actually min and ma. Min and ma. Now, the noon gets dropped. So it's actually jar wa majroor. So anytime you say amma is jar wa majroor, mimma is jar wa majroor. The noon gets dropped. This is standard. Okay? And it's because the Arabs say so. Arabs say, no, instead of you say min ma, just because in your pronunciation, actually, the noon, yudghamu noon fil mim, then it becomes mimma, and this is amma, and then minma. So anytime you see them like this, it's jar wa majroor, jar wa majroor, jar wa majroor. Okay? So it says here that you notice that we have the ism mawsul also, man and ma. Okay? Man. Man and ma. Okay, so is it man or minma? This is minma and amma and mimma. Okay, so there is a mistake here. Okay, this is another heading actually for Ismul Mawsul. Okay, Ismul Mawsul, when it becomes man and ma. Man and ma are Asma al-Mawsul. I think that I'm just missing the topic. Okay. Sorry. This is supposed to be Ismul Mawsul. Ismul Mawsul is actually another concept which we have discussed about. You know, you remember alladhi, alladhi, alladhina, allati, allatani, allati, allati, or allawati. These words are called asma al-mawsula. Okay. Now, man and ma are also one of them. Okay. Man and ma, okay, are also one of those asma al-mawsula. Okay. Okay, it says here, remember when we first studied harf of jar, min and am come before the ma. Okay, so this is what I've just explained. And then the noon is dropped and the two words are joined. So we have min, okay, mimma is equal to mimma, amma, am plus ma is equal to amma, an plus man is anman, and min from plus man is mimman. Okay, so this is what I've just explained. Okay, now that we have recognized that, we know that mimma is really minma. Since min is half of jar, that means ma is, it will have to be in the space of jar. So that's what we said, jar or majrur. Okay. Of course, we said fi mahal. Now this word fi mahal, fi mahal. Fi mahal means it's in a position of, or it's sitting in a place of. Of course, you know that min batakalawa min fi min fi. Okay, batakalawa min fi an. These are the huruf al-jar. Any ism after them is majroor, right? So if you see a ma after min, okay, sorry, this one, a ma after min or ma after an, that ma is an ism. Very important, not a harf. Because min cannot precede a harf. Min is harf jar. All huruf jar precedes isms. This is very important for us to know, brothers and sisters. Huruf al-jar precede isms. So ma here cannot be a harf, it's an ism. And if it's an ism, it is ma mawsuliyah, a relative pronoun. Okay? Ma bima'na alladhi. Okay? These are some of the examples. Ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. Ay, ya'lamuna alladhi taf'alun. Okay? So this alladhi. Okay? We'll learn about, I think, I don't know if it is today, but alladhi here, any sentence that comes after alladhi is called sila. So we have ism al-mawsul and sila. Okay? Ya'lamuna is fi'l mudara and fa'il is hum because of the una. Okay? You remember your una. Nasara, yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, ya'lamuna. So the una, the hum is the dua. Okay? Mada ya'maluna, mada ya'lamuna, ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. So this is maf'ul. Bihi. You know, yesterday we quickly learned about maf'ul bihi, maf'ul fihi, maf'ul lahu, maf'ul hal, and maf'ul mutlaq. Those 5 maf'uls, right? This is one of them. The 5 maf'ul that spoke about what and who, where and when, how and how badly. All those are maf'uls, okay? Ma here is ism al-mawsul fi mahal nasb. Fi mahal because it's not an ism standing, it's not an ism, but it is a word that stands instead of an ism. So we say it's fi mahal nasb, maf'ul fi mahal nasb. In this case, maf'ul bihi. Okay? And then the whole of taf'aluna is sila. Sila means a connector. Why is it called sila? It's called sila because it connects. Sila to the mawsul. It connects the mawsul because this, the whole of this actually gives information about the ma, which means allazi. So anytime you see ma, allazi, man is also one of the ism al-mawsul. Okay? Man bimana allazi, ma also bimana allazi, but ma is used for non-human and man is used for human. Okay? Now, any sentence after that, or any word or phrase after the allazi and all its sisters are called sila. It means they give the information about the ism al-mawsul. Okay? And then the fi'l mudara, in front of it, it will have fi'l and fa'il. Okay? Antum taf'aluna, because of the ta and una. Ta and una is for antum. You forget, you remember that. Now, tu'allimani mimma ullimta. This is another sentence that we learned about. So, mimma ay min allazi. Min harf jar, allazi majroor. So, min harf of jar, ma ism al-mawsul fi mahal jar. Okay? Majroor. You can just say jar majroor, but this one, it wants to tell you that it is ism al-mawsul. So, it is fi mahal jar. Okay? The reason why it's called fi mahal, it's not say majroor normally. is because it's actually not a word that stands on its own, like baytun or ta'amun or ustazun, right? It is a word that stands, is an ism by category, okay? But it has not no a meaning in itself as a name of something or a name of somebody, right? And so that's why it's always fi mahal, okay? Now, ulimta rushdan. Ulimta rushdan. Jumla fi'liya sila. So the whole of that is sila. But this one is called fil madi mabni lil majhul. I think next week we'll talk about mabni lil majhul very briefly. Mabni lil majhul is passive fail. You know, we are talking about fi'l madi mudari amr. But there is also fi'l madi mudari about the passive fails where the fa'il is not mentioned. If we don't meant to mention the fa'il, then we say the fail should be turned into majhul, from active to passive. So we make it passive fail. For instance, when I say akala Muhammadu ta'ama, and then I say ukila ta'amu. So ukila ta'amu, the u-e make it not sound like majhul. So we'll talk about fi'l mabni al majhul. They are actually fi'l madi and mudari, but the fa'il is not mentioned, and the maf'ul bihi sits instead of the fa'il. That's the concept there. Maybe we'll look at it on Monday, inshallah. And then rushdan is maf'ul, and this one is maf'ul hal. Okay, good. These are some of the examples. فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. Fa harf, we say it's just as harf. Okay, ittaqu is fi'l amr, and the fa'il is antum. Ta and u, ittaqu. An-nara maf'ul bihi. Okay, and then allati is mawsul fi mahall nasb. Sila is the sila of allati, because allati is here. So any sentence or any jumla in front of the allati is called sila. Okay, sifa. Okay, so this is sifa for the annar. This one is explaining or is detailing the annar. Waquduha an-nas wal hijara, jumla ismiya, another sila. Okay, wuqudaha and mubtada and is mudaf, and an-nasu wal hijara is, it becomes khabar. So mudaf ilayhi here, there's idafa, and this is mubtada, and then an-nas wal hijara becomes the khabar of this one. So the whole of this is jumla ismiya sila. Okay, jumla ismiya sila of this one, and this allati is actually sifa of an-nar. It's explaining the nar, and this is given detail about the sila, so about the ism al-mawsul. So just note this, that all ism al-mawsuls have sila. You can't have ism al-mawsul without sila. Okay, because ism al-mawsul doesn't stand alone. Fattaqun nar allati, what? Okay, then you mention this statement. Waquduha an-nas wal hijara. Okay, for instance, you cannot say that is the teacher who, and then you keep quiet. ذلك هو المدرس الذي. You have to mention الذي فعل ماذا, who did what. What about him? So all asma al-mawsula would have a statement in front of it called sila, and that's sila la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. How do we say what? Why are we saying la mahalla laha min al-i'rab? The whole of this is actually here because of that. So this one is a sifa. So the whole of this one is actually under that. So that's why we say la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Okay, that is that for that, and that will end today's discussion. If you don't mind, definitely I will check back onto the polls. I hope everybody has answered his poll. But quickly, I would like to share with you what we did. جزيتم عنا كل خير وبارك الله في علمكم يا أخ أبونا الكبير عبد الله باي. رويدا كلنا ما زلنا طلبة. ما زلنا طلبة، ما زلنا نتعلم. إن شاء الله نتعلم ونزيد علما ويزيدنا الله سبحانه وتعالى بركة فيما علمنا إن شاء الله. نعم. Okay, so quickly, let me just do this. I needed to do this because some of you did not follow. We were not here very early, and I said I was going to share this again. For some of us who have been using the Microsoft Word to do typing and so on, we are saying, for instance, if you want to write um, the word Allah, and we want you to have this design, for instance, or you want to write alayhi salam, we want to write alayhi salam. I hope you can see my screen. Oh, sometimes if, okay. So you want to write Allah for it to have this design, and you want to write alayhi salam for it to have that design. For instance, how do you do these things generally? So what we say is that there are a lot of options that we have. When you have Jalla Jalaluhu, Jalla Jalaluhu, you can make it this. How do I do these? This is the option. You just open your Microsoft Word, okay? And then you go to insert, okay? Insert. I hope you can see my screen because I'm not sure you can. Can you see when I say insert? Can you see the screen? Can you see where? Okay, let me do this again. Let me come back and then stop that and do that and pick my screen. Okay, I'm sure now you can see what I'm doing. So when I click on insert, I go to symbols and then I click on symbols. Now by default, you don't see all these symbols. This is what you will see, maybe. Maybe you will see these, the A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Now you have an option to say, I will just go in there and look for AGA Arabesque, this option, this font. Then you see all these fonts, okay? You can choose to click on whichever thing you want. For instance, if you want this Bismillah Rahman Rahim, you can insert it here. Have you seen that it has been inserted? But in my case, I don't want it this way. I want anytime I type Bismillah Rahman Rahim in Arabic, it appears that way. Or if I type Jalla Jalaluhu, I don't want to insert like this. I don't want to be coming into this symbol. What I want to do is that anytime I type, I type Allah, it should be like this. Anytime I type alayhi salam, it should be like this, and so on. So if I want to do this, all I do is go to insert symbols, go to symbols here and select AGA Arabesque, and then you select that particular style that you want. For instance, this one is Allah with a design. This is the code. You can either type the code here, the character code, or you go into something called autocorrect. In the autocorrect, you will type what you want this particular word to signify. So for instance, if I type Allah, okay, I already have that one. So you can see all these ones are what I have already put in my system. So anytime I type Allah, it will give me that nice design, right? So I've already done it. If I want to replace it, I'll just take it off, delete it. Okay, I can delete it from here, and then I will change it. So I will change it to maybe Allah. If I did Allah, no, maybe not Allah. In this case, I don't want to even type it. I want a shortcut for it. So I will come here and say, create a shortcut for this word, Allah. So anytime I type this particular shortcut, Control Z, so I just click on Control Z on my keyboard, and then I will assign. If I assign Control Z to this Allah and close it, anytime I type Control Z, this Allah would appear. So if I do here, I close this, and then I do Control Z. You see what has happened? That Allah has appeared. So basically, you can try your hands on it by going to insert symbols, more symbols, go to AGA Arabesque, click on the design you want, either assign a shortcut to it or autocorrect. Autocorrect means you have to type the certain word, the word that you want to represent. You remember yesterday the video that was given you, the person typed Muhammad and then type certain MDFA or something. It is because the thing has been inserted here to react like that. So the person came inside here, for instance, and say, okay, anytime anybody types Muhammad, and then Muhammad, for instance, and add MDA or whatever, it should give that particular, that's what it did. So it's added it to the system, and so it works. So that one is inside the Microsoft. But this one, you can do it your own self, and you can assign any other word or any other shortcut in that by that. So you can either do autocorrect by typing a text, or you use a shortcut by assigning a shortcut to it. So you can see that this particular word, look, have you seen that Ramadan, this Ramadan? I have already given it a shortcut. My shortcut is Control R. When you open yours, you realize that there is no shortcut there. So you can always go to the shortcut key. You come here, you click inside this space, like press new shortcut key, and then you click on control something, okay, control something, then it will give you that particular key. So in my case, this is the key. I can remove it again. I can remove it and change it anytime, right? If I remove it, it goes off. But as far as it is there, if I come here and I type on Control R, Ramadan, with that design will appear. Okay, so these are some of the things that we have just learned this morning. And one of the things also that I would like to share with you is anytime we type in English, we see this 1, 2, 3, 4. Even though I am typing Arabic, for instance, even though I'm typing Arabic, when I type 1, 2, 3, maybe it doesn't appear with these characters, but it appears with those. Okay, if it appears like this, and you want to change it in such a way that anytime I type Arabic, it should come with Arabic, you know, but not with the English. Even though this is the Arabic, right? It shouldn't come like this, but it should come like this. What you do is you go to option, you open your Word document, you go to options here, or file rather, file, and then you go to options. When you go to option, it will open this dialog box. You go to advanced. When you go to advanced, down here, there's something called display or something, right? Yes, under this show document content, sorry, show document content. Under here, you will see the numbers, okay? You see numbers. Under the numbers, there is a drop down here. If you took, you will see yours might be Hindi. If it is Hindi, that's how it behaves, like that. But if you put it in context, context means anytime I type Arabic, it will give me Arabic numbers like this. Okay, if I type English, it will give me English numbers and so on. But by default, mostly you will see it's Hindi, this one. So if it is Hindi, for instance, if it is here and I close it, even though I type Arabic here, but if I type 1, 2, 3, it, okay. Okay, so okay, look at what it has done. It has changed everything to Arabic because I have changed the format here. Let me go back, advanced, and then documents content here. So you see Hindi, I have to change it to context. Okay. So when you do change it to context, what will happen is that you will always see what you type, depending on if you are typing Arabic or you are typing English, depending on if you are typing either Arabic or English, okay? Then you will be able to have your numbers accordingly. And these designs, as you are seeing, it's something that I have created from the symbols. So when you are having verses from the glorious Quran and you want them to have this, you can always do it in the symbol designs. So you can choose here Arabesque, AGA Arabesque, and you can choose any of these designs for your Arabic texts. That is all for today, and Jazakumullah anna kulla khair for that. And of course, there are other things that we might share before the close of the program on Tuesday. With this, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. For today, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. I think I saw something. If there is no, I saw one question. Was it a question or? Okay, it wasn't a question. Okay. Okay, so that will do that. That will be for the day, and inshallah we'll meet on Monday. But don't forget, tonight you have you have your revision session. Please come to those revision sessions. Believe me, a lot is being learned there, and it will make you very good in your understanding. And on Saturday also, no, Saturday there is no. This Saturday we have a pep talk. For some of you who have attended our pep talks, with some of our external resource persons. We'll be having another pep talk this Saturday at 8 p.m. GMT. That is 9 o'clock Nigeria time. Because alhamdulillah, my elders in Nigeria, a lot of you are here. At 9 p.m. Nigeria time, we'll be having a pep talker from United States. He's a Ghanaian, actually, professor at the United States, inshallah, Dr. Ali, who will be engaging us in discussing the virtue of knowledge. And all of you are invited by default as as learners with S.A.I.D Arabic and English Academy. So please, this Saturday, yes, there's not going to be a revision, but there's going to be a revision tonight, as well as more Edmodos tonight. Your Edmodo questions, I have seen impressive performance from some of you, very good performance and very encouraging, particularly when this is actually a new topic or a new mode of teaching Nahu to some of us. But alhamdulillah, you know, a lot of very impressive performance, and a lot of, some of you even prompt me in correcting some of the mistakes and that we have done in tabulating the questions which we have. So we are making the next session better. Thank you so very much, Abdul Majid, and before that, my brother Ibrahim Raji, as well as Khalifa. But Khalifa is always Edmodized. For him, he's not supposed to be getting injured like that. You know, he got injured again this morning. But I leave him with Noura. Noura will be taking care of him, inshallah. Okay. So with that, I would say, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. والله يعصمك من الناس والله يعصمك من الناس والله يعصمك من الناس. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. صلوا على النبي الكريم. اللهم صل على محمد وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.